Hey there, welcome back. So one of my goals of this year is not only to read and watch some of the newer anime and manga, but also to work on my backlist. So I was so excited when I finally got to watch Hellsing. It was a delight. I have watched both the original and the OVA remake Ultimate, and I love them both for very different reasons. However, I am far, far, far more partial to Ultimate, like the early 2000s, mid 2000s animation, over the top dramatics, and I mean over the top extreme. Everything in that series was a delight, completely my vibe. I loved it. So, what is Hellsing? Hellsing centers mostly around Alucard, my favorite example of a vampire in all of literature or media right now. He is basically Lovecraftian horror with a gun, and I love this man. Terrifying. He is in service to slash indebted to slash enslavement to the Hellsing organization led by Sir Integra, ancestor of Van Helsing, and I love this woman as well. Like, take no crap, absolutely brutal, love her. And Alucard's job is basically to slaughter violently any vampires, ghouls, or artificial vampires to protect the public. And he has recently turned who could arguably be the main character, Saris Victoria. So she, as a new vampire, is trying to hold on to her humanity. What does it mean to be human? What are these vampire tendencies? Come to terms with her new strengths and responsibilities and the world and craziness she's thrown into. They are, yeah, essentially taking care of these artificial vampires and wondering who has created them. There's these little chips involved. And it's kind of where the two stories branch off, as the anime makes a anime only villain, whereas the manga and Ultimate go off and yeah, we get Nazi crazy organization to the extreme. Like, these characters are insane and crazy. So, starting with the original anime, I gotta say, I'm not a fan, really, of a lot of the stuff that happens. It's very slow. The anime only villain was not intriguing to me. Like, he felt like a stepping stone villain that you have to or get past to get to the actual big bad boss. And it left so many things unanswered. I'm assuming to get people interested in the manga. I appreciate many things that this anime did. I know people praise it for the soundtrack, and personally, I loved it for Saris, Victoria. Her character in the original, in my personal opinion, was handled a lot better than in the Ultimate. Just for her trying to hold on to her humanity, as well as you've seen the appreciation and responsibility she took for the other Helsing organization members. So the humans in her more or less squad, she wanted to protect them, and she felt very responsible when she failed. So I liked her more in the original for the majority of it. However, by the end of Ultimate, yeah, no, I liked her more there. So take that with a grain of salt. The remake OVA Ultimate, an absolute delight and a vibe and insane over the top. Like, I have no other words to describe this other than badass. There are no other adjectives. I don't swear, but that is the only way to describe this. Extreme violence, but it doesn't wallow in like torture and make it feel uncomfortable and brutal. It's meant to be awesome. So while the series is rated 18 plus, personally the majority of it I felt was like 15 plus. That seemed fine until you got to the end when you had a lot of, not a lot, but there was necrophilia and pedophilia. So yeah, grain of salt of who this anime is meant for. My main complaint would be certain animation moments. Like, it does what I always describe as like a Full Metal Alchemist simplistic animation that throws in a bunch of humor, and it didn't really land for me. So that was disappointing. Kind of broke the vibe. Could have done without that. I would also argue that it really didn't go as deep into the themes that it touched upon as I would like. Don't get me wrong, this offered a lot more in terms of character backstory for Alucard, but the themes it touched upon were like his. In both series, you had Alucard's appreciation for humanity. Like, he reveled in being a monster, but he also appreciated humanity and refuse to die by a monster's hands. So many times it's like only a human can kill me, and I wish that was explored more. Same thing with his relationship with Sir Integra. So many times he was just like, I am a monster. I will kill your enemies. I will do as you command. They will die by my hands, but you have to give the order. I am the gun, you be the one to pull the trigger. And while there were moments where Sir Integra felt responsible and bad for especially her own people dying and having to put them out of their misery. Yeah, but when it came to Alucard and every time he said that, there was never any hesitation in her voice. She did not struggle with unleashing an unstoppable killing machine on her enemies, knowing innocent people would die in the crossfire. Every time, it's just like, do not question my resolve, seek and destroy, slaughter my enemies. I would have appreciated if there was a little more hesitation, as in, I need this person dead, but I don't want to sacrifice these innocent people to get it. Oh, conflict internally. Like, that didn't happen. She had no internal conflict. Slaughter whoever it took to get what she needed done. But at the same time, she wouldn't be her character if she was hesitant. Then you have Walter, the butler. Oh, my darling. Okay, the original one, just a delight. However, in the anime, or the Ultimate, he did some things that I'm going to have to talk to you about in spoilers. This man is the angel of death, former vampire hunter, has these wire weapons that slices people up. Oh my god, he is incredible. I love him so very much. Oh, it hurt my heart and soul. What else do I have to say about the remake? The villains might be a little too over the top. Like, there's a villainous monologue on there that I'm just like, can we wrap this up? You've been going on this a long time. I get it. You're evil. You want death, destruction, war. You love war. I got it. Can we move this along? We're on a bit of a time crunch. Mostly, again, the reason I love this, early mid 2000s animation, dramatic lighting, dramatic characters, dramatic animations. And I love the over top. I loved how over the top everything was. It was an experience. Again, I would have preferred diving a bit deeper into themes, but if the choices were diving deeper into themes or awesome fight scenes where people get impaled on flagpoles, it went with the awesome fight scenes. So there's that. Going now into spoilers, because I want to talk about these characters that I adored. We are starting with Alucard, the glorious creature that he is. This man is very much overpowered as hell. And what I love about him is, how do you make a fight with an unstoppable, unkillable, overpowered character entertaining? You put limitations on them. So he has these restrictions that he has to let go to unleash even more power. But you would think it would be Sir Integra or someone in the Hellsing organization that would have the control and be able to release these limits, or at least say, like, you can use this restriction in this specific situation. No. Instead, Alucard is the one with complete control over when he can release these restrictions. And I love that, because it really just shows he just wants a good fight and a good time. So he's not going to release all his ultimate power on a weak enemy. He wants them to be able to fight back and allow himself to be killed repeatedly, only to come back and continue to fighting, and only wants to release these restrictions when he's ready for a good fight. And I love that for him. I absolutely adore his relationship with the humans in his care, how he respects their will to live and fight and continue to be human. And at the same time, while he relishes in being a monster, he is struck by the tragedy of his past. Like, tortured, family killed his own family, ruled a country, terrified his enemies, slaughtered his own people, eventually lost a war and drank the blood of the battlefield, taking in souls into his own body and becoming the monster vampire that he now is. And then missing his humanity, so he refuses to die by a monster's hand, saying he will only die by a human's hands. And You have characters like Alexander Anderson, who is like a religious zealot. Alucard saying he would have been proud to die by this man's hands, only to see him sacrifice his own humanity to become a monster to fight Alucard, and Alucard's distraught disappointment and anger towards him, saying, "You're better than this. You don't need to become a monster. Don't throw away your humanity." Watching him throw it away, and then Alucard just being like, "Now you mean nothing to me. I'm not dying by a monster's hands," and ripping out Alexander's heart and crushing it. It was an incredible fight. I really loved all these characters. I just wish we got a little bit more explanation or exploration on him, but we definitely got more than the original, and I'm very happy for that. I love Alucard so very much. He is a delight. Moving on to Sir Integra Fairbrook Winsgate's Hellsing. Love this woman. Take no crap. She, like I said, I wish we got a little bit more on her internal conflict on how she feels about unleashing this unstoppable killing machine on everyone, but we didn't, but that's fine. Because I also would have liked if we seen more like strategy with her, like a politician side, and just, yeah, strategic. But why does she need to have any kind of strategy when fighting her enemies when she has Alucard? So, like, there's one moment where religious zealot number 1 or 2 threatens her, calls her a Protestant sow, and Alucard dissolves out of the wall and is just like, "What did you say to my master? You think I'm letting you leave England alive after that? I'm going to kill you." So I love her. I love her so very much. I could have done with a bit more. We did get her backstory with her father and her uncle trying to kill her to take her spot as the head of the organization, how she ran into the basement and unleashed Alucard, how he respects her for refusing to die, her killing her uncle, and just as a young child getting the respect of Alucard was a very nice thing. Cerys Victoria, the new vampire, like I said, handled better in the original, in my opinion, early on, but then by the end, you see her fully committing to being a vampire. She's trying to protect the mercenaries that are her bodyguards, essentially, and you have Pip, who is a French mercenary, kind of her love interest, seeing him sacrifice himself and her sacrificing herself, trying to protect him, and him her, only for her to lose an arm, become blinded, is about to die, and he is already like half dead. So he willingly gives his blood to her. He dies, but he's now living inside her, and his soul is protecting her mind. And then you got her arm being replaced with this monstery shadow thing. He helps her take down a Nazi werewolf. It's over the top. It's extreme. It's wonderful. I love where her character ended up in the OVA one, so I still got to give that the point for her character as well. Could have done without her backstory in this one. I didn't feel it was necessary. That was a little gratuitous. Wasn't a fan, but it's all right. It's all right. Now we have to talk about Walter, because this man has betrayed me, and I was heartbroken. So in the original, he is just an awesome butler, former vampire hunter. Love him. Snarky as hell, English sarcasm, something. Love him. Love him. In the remake, he betrays us. He goes to the Nazi organization. I think for more youth, because he's upset that he's grown old and can no longer fight the way he used to, so he wants to kill Alucard. Even though they're sort of friends in this, like he's making their guns, I don't understand what his betrayal, the purpose was, because he actually betrayed Sir Integra earlier when he teamed up with her uncle to have her killed, but really I think it was a plan for her to unleash Alucard because he wanted him out, and so he could eventually fight him, and I just don't know why he betrayed us. But then he didn't sort of betray us, because when he lost to Alucard, he went back to the organization of crazy people and killed the doctor that was making the artificial vampires, essentially saving the day and stopping more artificial vampires from being created. So was he a good guy? Was he a bad guy? Was he both? It was very complicated, and I just want more explanation for him, his backstory, and why he did what he did, because he betrayed me. And I was so upset, like seeing him always by Sir Integra's side, and then betraying her. How could he? I need to talk about, was it Shelby Penwood or something like that? He's this political guy, organization, a complete coward. Got where he is based on his family name, his personality trait starting off, he's a coward. That's it. Watching this man stand his ground, hold his post against invading Nazi vampires, refusing to leave, and then, by God, taking as many of them out with him as he can, sacrificing his life to one, get a message out there to the remaining surviving members of the government that are still fighting and give them hope that they're still going to survive this, and then watching him blow himself up with all these invading vampires. This man was a delight. Name every helicopter after him. Love this man. Then we have the villains. So, Nazi organization. Over the top as hell. Slightly too crazy. Like I said, villainous monologue went on too long. But then you have, what's her name? Sing an opera on a battleship. Like, Von Winkle. Like, a delight. An entertaining, crazy delight. But my favorite villains of both of these series, but better in Ultimate, the Valentine brothers, the younger one, Jan. Oh my God. I love this man. I had him for like 5 seconds before I'm like, you are entertaining as hell. Okay, love is the wrong word. This man is terrifying. He is horrible. He's a very, very, very bad person. He only cares about sex violence and sexual violence. That is it. So, based on previous videos, you probably think I would not like that elements in a story. It is, I do. When it's part of the vibe. Like, this is Hellsing. I knew what I was getting into when I went into the series, and it fits the vibe and the tone of the series, and I just love when a series commits to what it is. Like, don't half-ass something. So this character was just entertaining as hell to watch, and so wonderful to watch him die. Like, this, I love this series so very much. My only complaint is I wish it was like 3 times longer. I binged the 10 episodes in a day, and then I wanted to start it again from the beginning. I loved it. It was such a delight. Tell me what you think of Hellsing. Do you prefer the original? Do you like Ultimate? Who were your favorite characters, favorite moments? Season 3 was, or not season 3, episode 3 was definitely mine when Saris and Alucard were accused of being terrorists, and then the SWAT team comes in to take them out, and Alucard is, to quote Team 4 Star's abridged recap, is just basically, haha, room service, lunch, slaughters them. People like committing suicide to avoid this man, and then him going out and bodies on flagpoles, impaled, brutal fights. I love that episode so very much. Oh God almighty. Watch Hellsing. It is a classic for a reason, and I loved it.